You know, if you get a nice rug like the one I've got here in the den, it might last 5, 10 years or so if it's in a high traffic area. But in here, it probably maybe last 20 or 30 years. Hell, it might even outlast me, especially if it's kept up with nicely and not too many spills and things like that on it, because that'll really ruin a rug. But some rugs like this right here that you're seeing are Indian or a Persian style of rug that people know of in modern day, can last hundreds, if not possibly thousands of years. Some of them are quite intricate. The cheaper ones are still somewhat intricate. The most intricate ones have gotten quite expensive, and there are some that are so expensive they end up hanging them on the wall as a tapestry and keeping them as art. This is a Persian type effigy that you see here. In the lower rung you can see some dignitaries and stuff, but not much of that line. The next line has something that looks like a Greek or Persian pillar, and then you see a winged horse creature on a chariot type device being pulled by horses and so on, and it recreates itself over. And then above is again these dignitaries meeting each other and so on, and it continues. We're going to look at where all this ideal comes from and an interesting fact that goes with it, and something that was found in the 1950s but not touted very much and not shown very much. This same type of rug was what was set upon once whenever these people would tell ancient stories and, with the help of intoxicants, vivid imaginations, and knowledge of the past and far-reaching cultures, would be able to take people who had not gone to those areas on a magic carpet ride to visit those places in your mind without ever leaving this carpet. The one we're looking at today, though, is associated with the Pazryk culture, and it's over 2,600 years old, with its intricate patterns and weaves and geometric shapes, things along that line that you can see through here in intricate colors, almost Christmassy patterned, if you will, golds, blues, or highlights, and reds and greens in borders. And you can see these people on horseback, these ancient horsemen. And one thing that you also might notice is that all of them are blonde or red-headed. It also has a border around the edge of it that's just barely in the shot here, but there's another shot coming which shows griffin iconology also. Right down here is a swastika. So these ancient rugs, where this was found, is way up in Mongolian lands, and found in the 1950s in an ancient burial with a log cabin like I had talked about before. And though this may look like some lock-a-block picture out of some old Nintendo game, this is a finely woven carpet showing you these horsemen. Well, this area is accredited to Mongolians, and we know what we think of when we see Mongolians or even bring apart the thought of it here, but here's the Pazryk culture who had heralded their part of the civilization, and you can see it seems to predate these fancy-ass rugs, with the idea coming through the Medes, and Persians, and also into India. Some of these rugs are found in areas of Russia too, and that shows you that this is the connective from before. There's those griffins on the border across the bottom. Interestingly, it looks like the web that was below this was made in a perfect honeycomb type style. And I don't know if that's trying to do something with their preservation of the thing nowadays or what, but it's pretty much rotting away, but you can still see its grandeur of what it was at one time. So you imagine how long can a rug last? And these fabrics that we're finding are pretty intricate. Along with it, and I guess the reason I think it's so Christmassy, is it almost looks like poinsettia flowers inside the yellow border that you see are on the bottom, and then there's reindeer. We also know that goes with those ancient people too, and due to their migrations, cultural things that we know of as Christmas are attached to this also. One would look at this and say it almost looks like a Christmas rug in some way. But it's not really from that. But it definitely shows you the cultural connection. Now this tomb, again, was found way out here in the middle of nowhere. Here's a picture of the way it looks in winter, looking down upon it, in this Mongolian winter, if you will. So what had kept it is up under the permafrost. And in fact, people had got into it, and the tomb was looted in ancient times and busted through, and then all of that, and it became frozen and hooked back up in the permafrost. And luckily at the time that this thing was caught, it was had come out of that slow thaw during a summer in excavation, and was able to be kept now. Very few remnants, but ironically that looks a lot like those people that are hooked up with Buddha in the earliest of times, and the Tocharian people like that. This is the Pazryk culture that we've talked about before. Many of these are named just from the site that they find them at. Later connectives can show you there's a lot of connections that go way, way back. And in fact, this is found in what you and I would think of as the ancient Silk Road, well before Marco Polo and anything on that nature. Anyhow, I just share that with you. Got a story about a guy that was a collector that had some stuff too, but I think I may do that whenever I do another video about magic carpet rides. Like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy. Peace.